concept.
He's ordinary.
What are you gonna call him? Maybe he broke down.
This show ate ass. Last week didn't have an episode. Before that was all trivia. This week there's no Tyler.
4 minutes. Wait, hold on. Mine says 1, 2, 3. What does actual time? Okay. Oh, my God. So tired.
Who's
Cheese words for the
my
black
hero?
It's
Leaving all the best.
cheese words for the black.
You know my hero, the one that's on.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields the bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Whoa, yeah! Politicians hide themselves away. They only started the war. Why shouldn't they go out to fight? They leave that role to the poor. Time will tell on their power and minds, making war just for fun, treating people just like pawns in chess. Wait till they're just now when darkness world stops turning, ashes where the body's burning. No more war pigs have the power. Hand of God has struck the hour. Day of judgment, God is calling. On the knees, the war pigs crawling, begging mercy for their sins. Satan laughing spring spreads his wings.
Welcome to the Virtual Stab Comedy Theater. The gentlemen look ready, so how about we do this? It's time for middle class film class. Please. Oh wait, this thing did a thing. I have to hold on.
Okay.
There it is. Okay. Please welcome to your screen middle class film class.
Hello, Twitch. From everybody. You know what? It'd probably help if I was actually recording. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class Gab and Chatter Edition for Saturday, September 23rd, 2023. I'm your host for today, not Tyler.
I'm Joseph.
And we have a creepy monster guy over there.
In place.
In place of Tyler. On this episode, listener emails aplenty, Hollywood big timers react to Oppenheimer, and the Toxic Avenger is upon us. Plus, Jeff Bezos needs more ad revenue, and whatever it is that Tyler's going to talk about, allegedly.
Yeah. Well, here we all are both of us.
All both of us. And the shower creeper peeper over there.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Welcome, Stab World. Welcome, Twitch.
To this new and improved show.
Yeah, we as you can see, anybody who's watching the stream, and if you're in podcast land, I would encourage you, go into the show notes, click on the VOD link. It'll take you to twitch.tv/stabcomedy.
Yes.
If you're there right now, say hi in the chat. If you want to see our three glorious faces, Tyler's looking a little slim over there.
Yeah. Looks like a RoboCop.
Yeah.
Missing the rest of his body.
And we normally, if we have one of us is running a little bit late, that's okay. We push it back a little bit. But on stream day, the show must go on.
Yes. We got a hard start.
So last time we heard from Tyler was, what time was it we sent that message this morning?
Earlier this morning,
Let's see.
Take a gander.
Tyler says, "Are we streaming today?" 8:15.
Yes.
8:15 in the morning.
And then he sent a salute.
Like,
GIF.
I'll be there at 11:30 or sooner.
And here we are at 12:02.
12:02. No, not a nary a response or reply in the chat window.
Or even seen the message.
Yeah. So we hope Tyler's doing okay wherever he is. Maybe his car broke down. Maybe maybe Lucas is sick. We don't know.
Yeah. Maybe he just started vomiting everywhere.
Yeah, it could be
Tyler.
And yeah. Better him do that at home than here.
Yes.
So welcome, Joseph. Hey,
What's going on? It's just
We're back.
we're back.
We're back.
Yes, we are. After our we thought we had our shit together again. Like we got our shit back together this weekend because
Yeah.
we didn't have it last weekend.
Yeah, we had 2 weeks ago was the all trivia bonanza on the Gavin Chatter. We foregoed Gavin Chatter and we did a great trivia competition with Linda and Joel and Ryan
Mm-hmm.
and
Me,
Joseph. Yeah, we had all four of you guys,
Yes.
and you played against each other. Tyler kept score, and then last week we had a scheduling conflict that just kind of went awry, and Joseph was moving.
Yep.
So we were gonna do the move on Sunday, or do a move on Saturday, and then record on Sunday out of turn, out of character. And
Yeah.
Tyler missed that message. He agreed to work overtime on Sunday, and he said, "I can't
Yes.
get Sunday off."
I let everybody know. I don't know how
A
long.
week. It was a Sunday prior.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah.
We got to move to Sunday, which happens sometimes. We do Sunday.
And then
sometimes.
Deanna had like family she hadn't seen like a decade and over, and so it was all.
Yeah,
It was a busy,
little bit of everything.
busy weekend
Yeah, and we do this in person.
for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. And so we have, instead of Tyler over there today, for whatever reason he's not here, we have the shower creeper peeper, the face,
Yes.
which is creepy, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a little creepy. Um,
It's doing its job.
But so all that aside, we are streaming right now on twitch.tv/Stab Comedy through Stab Comedy Theater. Thank you, Jesse, for hosting us month after month. Sometimes it's Milk, but most of the time it's Jesse, our benevolent overlord, overseeing the stream as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the Sacramento area and you want to see some live comedy, go down to Stab Comedy Theater downtown. Is that downtown?
I think it's on Broadway, which is like just next to downtown.
Okay, I don't know. Off the grid. And if you're not in the Sacramento area or you don't want to go in person, Stab Comedy streams live comedy, I think 7 days a week. I don't know if it's 7 days a week anymore, but for a long time there, I think it is. It's always something fun streaming there. All local comedy, support local art. It is a great gig. So thank you, Jesse, for that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
No, all I have to say to you, Tyler, is
Bruh.
Well, with that, let's get into Gavin Chatter.
Find some charity, ye lad. Now's the time for Gavin Chatter.
Gavin Chatter, movie news. This week I was gonna go first, so I guess I'll still go first. It usually goes in rotation here. And
clockwise rotation.
yeah, this week later in the week in podcast world, and in about an hour in streamer land, we're going to be reviewing My Neighbor Totoro.
That's what he's doing. He's probably watching the movie.
Probably, yeah. So that was Tyler's pick. He's been on a hot streak on the wheel. He's got some of these movies picked, but he's not here to host, so I'll just go first. We have a bevy of listener interaction in the last few weeks, and I've kind of hadn't really had a good spot for it. So Joseph, can you pull up the fan pick list for me,
The
please?
fan pick list.
Yes. So we have a new fan pick, actually two of them being added to the list.
The last one was Starstruck by the Minor.
The Minor Family.
Family.
Yeah. Newest fan pick is Killer Joe and Spontaneous. And Killer Joe is like the last narrative movie made by William Friedkin.
Yeah, the Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Who's submitting this?
This is from Josh G from Your Next Favorite Movie.
Josh
G.
G.
Yeah. He's a loyal listener, first day listener, and his podcast is basically is people come on the show and talk about their favorite movie, and he lets them do all the talking.
Oh,
Josh is a good guy, and also along with Killer Joe, Spontaneous, who was written and directed by, I can't remember the guy's name. Oh, what is his name? But he has a movie coming out that's going to be one of my streaming picks, who just came out yesterday. So I'll talk about that in a little bit.
who did this?
Those are both Josh. G.
Both
Yeah,
Josh G.
both from Josh G.
Oh, okay.
2 at a time. That's the limit.
I see.
Okay, so next listener interaction mail. Thank you, Josh, for that. Comes from David Gulick from the Cinematics Facebook page. This is way back from the Outsiders episode. He said, "I just listened to your Outsiders review, and I noticed that you guys say it would have been interesting as a TV show. Not sure if you know this, but Francis Ford Coppola actually did turn it into a TV show in 1990 on Fox Network. It features a young David Arquette, and it did not last very long at all. So Thank you for that, David. Did not know. I will not go back and rewatch that. Was not a huge fan of The Outsiders. Next message is from my dear Aunt Linda, recent contestant on the trivia show. She says, hello, Peter. I really enjoyed the review of Rango on the last episode. After listening, I remembered that I did have a DVD copy I had not watched yet. I actually got it for $1 at a rummage sale a while ago. I was delighted to find my copy had an extended version, deleted scenes, and commentary by the director. One of the deleted scenes is a slightly different version of the ending. So much fun. I lost count of all the classic movie references in the film, and it made my movie-loving heart very happy. Thank you, Tyler, for adding Rango as his pick. If not for your review, my copy would have languished in the someday I will watch it pile. Love, Aunt Linda. So yeah, that movie was full of classic Western tropes, and I'm sure that that really resonated with a classic movie lover like Linda.
Yeah.
Next message from Joe Bridges, old pal Joe Bridge, JB, on Twitter. He added us at Podcast MCFC. No mention of Rango, that the cinematography looks so great because they actually hired the greatest living cinematographer to consult on how it should look, Roger Deakins.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see his name in the credits.
It's like cinematography consultant.
Yeah,
That's interesting. I've never.
because it's animated, so it's not like it's actual like I guess traditional cinematography. But obviously, there's still elements of cinematography that you apply to when you're animating something: composition, lighting, focus.
Yeah, I feel like if you're making an animated movie, I mean, one of the benefits of having it is that medium is that you can do things you can't do on film, but it looks better if you try to make it look like a film. At least in my assessment.
Yeah.
Next message. I'm going to skip this one for later. Next message comes from Joel, oral pal Joel. He says, responding to Monday's episodes, that was my makeup episode of my favorite movies I've watched this year for the first time. I strongly agree that RRR is a treasure. The dance sequence was amazing, and I hope that dance-offs like that become popular because every event needs a group dance activity. First time watches this year from him were Alien and Aliens. 10 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
First time.
He says absolutely deserves their classic status. Bill Paxton shouting "Game over, man" filled a little hole in my soul that I didn't know I had. Great episode. Hope you guys had a nice weekend. Thank you, Joel, for that. Appreciate it. And then one more addition to the 2023 first time watches, also from listener Linda, is a recommendation from 1951 called Ace in the Hole, directed by Billy Wilder. It's an absolute treasure of a film and released on Criterion. You know me, I'm a sucker for not very likable people in complicated stories. Lots of great info at the link. She dropped a link from Roger Ebert's review, and Ace in the Hole was his next film after he finished Sunset Boulevard. Yeah, and she says, P.S. I was the one that recommended Cabaret. It was me. So thank you all the listeners for your submissions. If you have a recommendation or a submission or really anything, feedback, good or bad, send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com. And my next story, actual story of the week, Oppenheimer. It's become the highest grossing biopic of all time.
Oh.
Yes. What did it replace? I don't remember. It was something.
Yeah.
Something that surprised me, to be honest. But it's a divisive film, not really necessarily because it's controversial.
Because of the subject matter or because of the quality of the movie?
I think it's because of the subject matter mainly.
Oh, okay.
So it's that, but also I've heard some people say, why watch it in IMAX? It's a biopic it's basically just a bunch of people talking for long periods of time, and then one explosion, which is great, and yeah, they use it to great effect. Yeah. But it doesn't seem like an IMAX type movie.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was great in IMAX.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you essentially milked the best out of that film. I mean, we had the honor, the privilege, to see it in 70 millimeter IMAX. So seeing that in that medium and seeing because it's not 16:9 framing like at I guess a normal movie theater.
Yeah,
it took advantage of the sort of 4:3 type ratio that is at the IMAX, at least in Esquire, and it filled up the entire frame, and that was great.
Yeah, and I get it. A lot of it's just people talking or whatever, but
it's the same reason like people like film photos. Like something about film, when you look at a film photo, it has a certain quality to it that is different than a digital photo.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's maybe we could extend it even further. You know, listening to something on vinyl
Oh yeah,
versus CD or compact disc, as you might call it.
yeah.
So
CD-ROM.
yes, I was watching Wayne's World. I don't know, a couple months ago again, and I was like, "Oh, when'd you get the CD player in the car?" Like, "Oh yeah, that was a novelty at some point." Okay, so but that's a little bit of the divisiveness, and then other people are just like, it's a long 3-hour boring talking movie
Mhm.
with not a lot of like substance or action to it, which I think is it's bogus.
Yeah.
That's a really dumb take. It's a
Yeah.
smooth brain take from Logan Paul. But I want to hear what the greats think about it.
the
And
greats such as
Denny Villeneuve. And from this message, from this story from Variety, Denny Villeneuve says Oppenheimer reminds us that film is an art form and not just content, which is that's a great line.
Yeah.
We talked about that, content versus art, or content versus film, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah.
On the show many times. And another one of the greats, Paul Thomas Anderson, calls the $900 million gross, which has already gone past that, nature's way of healing.
Nature's healing itself.
Yeah, that's right. And it says that Denis Villeneuve knew that Oppenheimer was a masterpiece on his first viewing, but he never thought it would be nearing the $1 billion mark at the box office.
Mhm.
And I quote, "Where it is right now has blown the roof off of my projection," Villeneuve said. It's a 3-hour movie about people talking about nuclear physics. And I, for one, wasn't bored once the whole time.
Captivating.
Yeah. And then he continues, "When you make a film, you hope that you're going to connect with an audience in some form or another." Nolan's longtime producer and wife, Emma Thomas, told AP. Oh, that was from Emma Thomas.
Yeah.
But particularly with a 3-hour film that has a serious subject and is challenging in many ways, this sort of success is beyond our wildest imaginations. I just think it's really, it's kind of funny. Number one, that's the movie that is breaking that $900 million threshold.
Yeah.
And yes, it's Nolan, and yes, it had a big IMAX release, and yes, it was a spectacle, and it was, the story about it. Oh, it's 9 miles long or whatever. It's 600 pounds.
11 miles long.
11 miles long. 200 pounds or whatever it is.
Yeah, like it's like 650 pounds.
Fuck, it's insane. The film reel for the IMAX.
There's actually there was this interview with Nolan, and the interviewer gave this fun fact to Nolan about so the film reel is 11 miles long,
Mhm.
and at a walking pace, was it 11 miles long? I can't remember.
I think it sounds right.
It was like the fun fact. It was like, and the movie is 3 hours long. It takes, I mean, that doesn't sound right. It wouldn't take you 3 hours to walk 11 miles, would it?
Walking a mile is usually 13 minutes. Like if you take a leisurely
13
pace,
times 10?
13 to 15 minutes.
Okay. At like less than leisurely pace, you could walk the length of the movie, like the physical length of the film, in the amount of how long the movie is.
It takes as long to walk the movie
as long as it is the movie.
Well, I suppose if that's the case, then everything shot on that format, that would be the case. You could walk it in the length of the film.
Yeah.
If it's an hour and a half long movie, it takes an hour and a half to walk it.
Mhm.
The length of the film,
Yeah.
film stock. So yeah, I just thought that was a funny story that comes from Variety. A couple of wonderful quotes. Nature's way of healing.
Yeah.
We don't need another Disney animated movie to cross the $1 billion threshold. Let's make it 3-hour biopic about physics.
Yeah. I mean, Barbie crossed the $1 billion earlier, and now Oppenheimer has crossed the mark. When initially, I guess, I don't know what their initial predictions were. Like Barbie will make $1 billion, and then Oppenheimer will make 500 million or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then now they're both.
I don't know
the
if
$1
anybody,
billion club.
I don't know if anybody would have projected that Barbie would have made $1 billion. I mean, I know it was slated to be a big thing,
Yeah.
big names attached and whatnot, and a really, really recognizable property, but I don't think anybody expected it to be as good as it is.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice now. Great. Love it.
Oh, it's at home now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all I have.
Okay. So I have a couple things. One is very short. I just thought it was really funny. But the Toxic Avenger is a movie that happened in the 80s.
It's a movie, yeah.
And I have very little exposure to it. I don't know what it's about. I don't know anything about it. But they've remade it, I guess.
You know anything about the Toxic Avenger?
No.
I know very little.
Yeah, and they remade it with a cast of Elijah Wood, Peter Dinklage, I think Kevin Bacon. Kevin
Bacon's in it.
isn't it? And those are the three names that stood out to me. But they released this picture of Elijah Wood, and he just looks
Oh.
so. I'll just put it up here. We're so technologically advanced.
Yes.
He looks like, I don't know if you've seen that deleted scene photos of him in the Gollum makeup.
No. Oh yes.
What he has, like,
yes.
It's like supposed to be like a vision that he has of him as like a
Yes.
Gollum-like creature.
Yes.
But that's what it reminded me of.
Kind of looks like Danny DeVito's Penguin before he got he got thick.
Yeah. And
before he found Pepperidge Farm cookies.
I'm very curious about this movie. I have to go back and watch the original because I really don't know anything about it other than it's a toxic Avenger.
I know that it's a trauma movie, so it's very gritty, very like I don't want to say cinema verite, but it's kind of like a cult type movie. And I looked up the original Trauma because I don't know much about Trauma, and I know Lloyd Kaufman's kind of like the go-to from him from that group. But Toxic Avengers originally, the first one is 1984, but I think there was like 6 of them.
Oh really?
Yeah. And I never heard about any of the sequels, but on the list of Trauma movies it was they just keep going.
Is that a person? Trauma?
It's like a film group, I think.
Okay.
I think there's like
Broken Lizard.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's a production studio or if it's specifically what, but I know that I've heard that it's that, and there's break-offs of their, like, they have Tromeo and Juliet. It's another one that's really very, very well known for their that group, the trauma group. But I know literally nothing about it. All I know is Lloyd Kaufman is like the main guy.
Kaufman.
Yeah. And the Toxic Avenger is probably the most well known besides Tromeo and Juliet.
Yeah. Yeah, that will be coming out. I think it actually is. Like
it just debuted at like Fantastic Fest or something.
Yeah, it's like about to be available. Soon.
But it's also, you left out my favorite part. Macon Blair's directing.
Oh yeah, Macon Blair. I forgot.
Peter Dinklage is playing the Toxic Avenger.
Oh okay.
Which the original one was not a little person. He was just kind of I think he was like a normal person that was affected by toxic waste and turned into this kind of anti-hero, superhero sort of thing.
Like he was like a mutant.
Yeah,
looking guy.
Face is all deformed, sort of thing. But it was not a little person, and Dinklage is in the role, and people are saying that it's from the early reviews that I've seen is that it's the one criticism is that it's not as gritty and raw as the Trauma original, which I don't think anything can be quite as gritty and raw unless
can't capture that essence again.
You can't force on that grittiness.
No,
but
not in today's age.
Yeah, but I've heard it's great, and the fact I just found out like yesterday it was Macon Blair. That makes me really happy.
Yeah, that's
this stuff's great. Always connects.
Very interesting. So I'm excited to see that.
Cool.
In less exciting news, Amazon wants everyone to watch their Prime Video with ads, and starting early next year. If you don't want the ads, you'll have to pay $2.99 more.
Really?
Yes, per month to watch it without ads. So it's already $15, so it's going to go up to $18 almost. $17.98.
Is that how much it is a month? I paid for the year on Amazon Prime.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I just do Amazon Prime 1 year. It's like $100, I think.
Oh, okay.
So
it might be a little
$8 a month.
A little extra.
Now it's gonna be $150 a year or something like that. But I use it. I originally got it because the shipping, free shipping or whatever, and then
they made Prime Video.
Prime became more and more sucking up more content in more properties and stuff, and we're like, wow, this is actually a pretty good service.
Yeah. So they will their shows and movies will include commercials. The Amazon Video Streaming Service says it aims to have meaningfully fewer ads than linear TV and other streaming providers. That's still the point though is that you have ads at all.
Yeah.
And with this new thing, with this new ad thing they're doing, Apple TV is pretty much going to be the lone major streamer without any ads.
Interesting. Well, what about HBO?
Max?
Yeah. they have like their own ad at the beginning of
Yeah.
stuff, but I don't.
So does
thi-
Apple TV. Like they show a
Yeah, it's a
preview
little-
of another show.
Yeah, and you can skip through it.
It might be those two,
I
but
was gonna say I don't think I ever can recall, but
yeah, same.
Maybe they have an ad, like
Well,
tier.
they might have an ad tier. So that's like I think what they're saying. So because like Netflix has an ad tier.
My privilege is showing that I have the ad-free version.
Yeah. So Netflix and other top streamers have been pushing their users to use the ad-supported versions of their services. The average revenue per user on those tiers tends to be higher than on subscription-only plans. And it's especially the case in poorer countries where consumers are conditioned to sit through a larger ad load to get their entertainment. So they're exploiting more of these poor countries. And like, oh, they're used to watching YouTube ads and on these ads for like these lower tier streaming services that they're paying for. So it's okay because they're used to it.
Yeah. That's, I don't know about that.
Existing Prime members will automatically be opted into the ad-supported tier, and their monthly subscription will not change. Those who want to remain ad-free will have to pay extra $2.99 per month in U.S. pricing. For other countries, they'll come at a later date, and so will the ads.
If they put ads on there, like I mean, I know they got to do what they got to do. You know, they have to make money. They're buying up these.
It's Bezos. He's got the money.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I get it. I'm of two I'm of two minds because I don't want the service to go away because I like the content. I like being able to watch the stuff, you know, at a really easy, reasonable way. And I've mentioned this before, but I've seen a couple of people online, friends on various movie watching groups, that they have this amazing discipline, which I don't have, that they'll have 2 streaming services at a time. It'll be like Hulu and Netflix, and they'll watch as much as they can for those like 3 months, and then they'll cancel those and go to, you know, HBO Max and Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
And they'll watch those as much as they can for 3 months. Just try to like squeeze as much they can out of it. So it's like, because it makes sense if you're subscribed to 6 of them, but you only mainly watch 2 at a time, and you're like, well, every once in a while I watch a Showtime movie, and I don't want to lose that. Sure, cancel and then resubscribe for that moment. You know,
Yeah.
if it's a $10 thing, and you can watch 50 movies in that time or 20 movies in that time, and then cancel after a couple months, it makes sense. But I kind of lost myself in that. the point I was trying to make is, if they want to do that, I'd rather them like front load it. You know, give me a bunch of ads at the front
Watch
of the
a
thing.
280-second ad.
Yeah, I'm
in the
fine with
beginning.
that. And even if like, I'm opening the door for the dystopia to happen. But even if they were to be like, well, we want to make sure they watch them all. Okay, cool. Well, I have to click OK after each ad to prove that
After 5 seconds.
Yeah, after I've watched that ad before I get to the next one. And once you go through those 6 ads or whatever, then you watch the movie uninterrupted. I'd rather do that
Then have an interrupted movie.
and have an interrupted movie. Yeah, it's like first it was edited movies and interrupted movies, you know,
Yeah.
on cable, and then it's unedited movies, but they're interrupted, and then we got the no ads, and then we're going backwards. We're reverting.
Can't have it all. No, guess not.
Or you can just buy physical media.
Yeah, that's really the only solution. Yeah, so there's no information on when, like within, like when the new ads would or wouldn't run within like a piece of media you're watching. Pre-roll is a certainty, like it's gonna run, something's gonna run before whatever you're watching. But a commercial within like a movie is a whole different ball game.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Some plans, oh my god, this website. Some plans on some streamers already commit this sin. Fingers crossed for Prime that to be as selective and careful as its corporate promise above. Amazon, through its acquisition of MGM, already now has a whole bunch of movies at its disposal. We're not sure Artist Equity had visions of a Charmin toilet paper ad midway through a screening of Air, for example, but enjoy the go. There will be no changes to Amazon's fast service Freebie. That one, like its acronym implies, is totally free. So Freebie, you still got Freebie. Come on.
Yeah. I was gonna say when they said it's gonna be less commercials than other streaming services. Well, what about Freebie and what's the other one? Tubi.
Yeah.
There's like nothing on some of those. You get like 2 ads in the whole thing. It's like a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. But yeah, so expect that early next year if you're living in the U.S. and a little bit later if you're not.
Cool.
So exciting stuff for Amazon. Actually, Amazon is probably my least used streaming service.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty high up there for me. Maybe top 2, top 3, something like that.
I just know there's a lot of shit on there.
There is. There's some bad things.
Anyway, and to that,
That's it. You got anything
to
else?
that I say,
Bruh.
Oh, to Tyler?
yeah.
Sorry, like I don't know what to say.
What do you think he's doing right now, huh?
I don't know. I hope he's
Whacking off.
I hope he's okay because he hasn't even responded to any of our messages all morning.
I know.
But and again, he could have just fallen asleep. He's
He's a sleepy guy.
He's a sleepy boy.
I saw it once, but I was tripping on acid, so I don't remember.
I gotta
Okay.
tell you guys, I fell asleep.
So since without any further ado,
Yeah.
let's get into some streaming picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do. Disney Plus. Oh, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Streaming picks, movies that we watched this week on our streaming services that you can watch on yours too. I guess I will start since Tyler's not here.
Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks. And
Since we had a streaming.
Since we had a streaming, actually, and then technically it's been 3 weeks since we talked about it in general because it's 1 week between the trivia episode, 1 week after the
One week before
before leading up to the stream trivia episode, and then 1 week that we didn't do anything, and then the 1 week leading up to this.
Yes.
In those 3 weeks, I'm just gonna read down. This is because our last recording with a streaming pick
Well, I got time.
was on the yeah. It was on the 3rd. We recorded on a Sunday the 3rd.
Oh my God, 20 days
It's
ago.
been 20 days. It feels weird. It doesn't feel weird.
Yeah.
And yes, we did record before that. You know, we did record it on Saturday the 9th for the trivia episode,
Yeah.
but there was no streaming picks. So on the 3rd, from the 3rd on, I'm just going to run through these and I'm going to touch back on some. I'm just going to do rapid fire. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Halloween 2, Halloween 4, Return of the Michael Myers, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter and the
You could
Half-Blood
just say Harry
Prince,
Potter series.
Dumb and Dumber, Moonstruck, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2, Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises, Crybaby, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Bros, The Flash, Twilight, Time to Kill, Death Wish, Sanjuro, Greenberg, The Guyver, Guyver Dark Hero, thanks to Adam Murphy. Congratulations, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers, Twilight, New Moon, Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, Barbie, The Full Metal Jacket, Scandal Sheet, My Neighbor Totoro, back on the 14th, Blade, Aliens, Panic Room, You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah, Blood Simple, The Twilight Saga, Eclipse, Eastern Promises, Wind River, Halloween H2O, 20 years later, Halloween Resurrection, Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends, The Void, Manos, and No One Will Save You. That is a lot to parse through, and I'm going to pick some of the best ones.
Okay.
Manos, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very strange movie. I think it's streaming on Hulu.
I've seen that poster so many times.
Oh, HBO Max, streaming on HBO Max and Canopy and DirecTV. It's a weird. So it's basically a story about a small militia group, separatist militia group in Colombia, and they are called the Monos. And they're made of, I don't know, maybe like
they're made of
they're made of like 19-year-olds or younger, you know, all the way down to maybe 12 or something. And at one scene in the movie, they're celebrating one of the kids' 15th birthday, and they celebrate by like beating the shit out of him with a rubber strap 15 times. And they're like basically like a small separate group of a militia within Colombia. They're given this signifier, the Monos, and they're in charge of keeping a close eye on a captive. They have like an American or English engineer who they call a doctor. And they keep her captive. For what reason? We don't know. What are they going to do with her? We don't know. And there's a war raging on in the Colombian rainforest, but they're way up high on like this plateau, this sort of like mesa. It's way up high, literally above the clouds. And they have a cow to take care of, and there's very little actual narrative happening. I mean, you're kind of a little bit attached to the doctor woman, through a lot of it and her various attempts at escaping, this militia group. But the interesting thing about this movie, it's from 2019. Let's see, it's directed by Alejandro Landes, and it has this very strange sort of stream of consciousness sort of editing style that reminds me a little bit of like Harmony Korine in like The Beach Bum or Spring Breakers, where it'll show just very short snips of these intimate moments within their life as a militia, being trained, bonding with each other, being like degenerate children, turning on each other, fighting each other, and then play fighting, and then it goes to something very serious, like the doctor escaping and what her repercussions are for escaping. And I don't know, it's a very strange movie. I liked it quite a bit. It may not be for everybody. There's a scene of a butchering of an animal that's kind of graphic and a little disturbing. But some movies that are so artistically shot, I guess, it's kind of the same way that I would have described like Beach Bum or something. It could be a turn off for audience members because you're going from one stream of consciousness scene to the next, and this one stops and then has a little continuation in the narrative, and a couple of characters grow, and then it stops, and then it goes back into that that kind of stream of consciousness, surrealistic sort of like dream-like editing. So that part of it I really, really liked. The narrative didn't always work for me, but I don't think you really have to. So it's a really interesting watch. It's a beautiful movie, beautiful, beautiful settings, and it's acted really well too. I mean, for a bunch of young kid actors, I don't think they're all actually in their age. Some of them look like they probably a little bit older, but they play it really well. So that's Monos from 2019, and it is not an English language movie. I have to highlight the of all the Halloweens that I watched every one of the Halloweens, prepping for a
front to back,
tip to tail. And of all the movies, the worst of the bunch is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 from 2009. What a fucking trash fire that movie is. What a piece of dog shit that movie is.
What makes it so bad?
So the first Halloween, and if anybody hasn't seen a Rob Zombie movie, he must cast his wife Sherry Moon Zombie in everything. So in his reboot of the original from like 2007, I think it was just called Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween. His wife is the mother of Michael Myers, and she's not killed by him like the rest of the family's killed on the infamous night, and then she takes her own life because her only remaining family almost is a serial killer, but then she also has a baby that she abandons in the house when she kills herself, and that baby grows up to be Laurie Strode.
Yeah.
So excuse me, that's the way that story goes. In the second one, she's back.
She's alive.
She's a myth. She's this figure in his head.
Oh,
and she has more screen time than most of the other characters, and she's dead. Like that character is dead, and the way that Rob Zombie shoots the movie, I'd say probably 30% of it are dream sequences that then cut to the character screaming, and none of it was real. What? You're like, come on! There's like a 15-minute segment that happens, and it's intense, and it's gory, and it's brutal and visceral, and then it cuts, and she's waking up from a dream, and you're like, how once or twice in a movie, okay, that's fine. It happens like 8 times in this movie. For one, number two, he writes the women, the girl characters, like they are horny teenage boys. Like every single one of them is like DTF and like can't wait to get some. And like is like literally one of the girls is about to like hook up with this guy, and he has to like stop and pee, and the second he leaves the van, she's like, hurry up already, I'm waiting. Like, I would say that it's maybe like a take on Rob Zombie's like rewriting the Hollywood trope of like the horny teenage boy, but as a girl, and like how it seems weird on the other foot, and that may be the case. But he's also at the same time completely exploiting it. Almost every woman character or girl character in the movie, both movies actually, Halloween and Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie, are topless when they're killed. or topless before they're killed for a long time and then killed and then also topless while they're dying. And it's not like artistic, like let's shoot around it a little bit. Now, if you see a little nipple, no big deal. It happens, very realistically. It's like
Michael rips off her shirt.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this is a porn star with that we're very clearly gonna like linger on the breasts for a while, and then the killing happens, and then she's covered, her whole body's covered in blood. Let's just let her writhe around on the ground and like rub it into her tits, and you're like, it's just the whole thing feels terrible, and it's like Rob Zombie's movie. They're very edgy, like trying hard to be edgy, like edgelordy. This one feels like a fun house, like a carnival haunted house that you would find like at a state fair or something like that, or like a corn maze.
Yeah,
it's like a haunted house that someone makes, but it's like a carnival themed, and it's sponsored by Hot Topic, and it's like so edgy. Oh my gosh, can't you believe it? This is so edgy, and it's none of it works. And I don't know if I just got too old for Rob Zombie or whatever, but it fucking sucks. It sucks so bad. I gave it a 1-star review on Letterboxd, and it just says dog shit. It's fucking terrible. Moving on to lighter things, with a very difficult topic. Wind River, 2017, written and directed by Taylor Sheridan. That name sounds familiar. He did
Winter's Bone.
He wrote Sicario, Winter's Bone. I think he was a director on.
He did Hell or High Water.
He wrote and directed Hell or High Water too. Yeah. He's done a lot. He's kind of like this golden boy Hollywood writer, and then he directed some of his own stuff, and it turned out really good. So this is from 2017. It's streaming on Netflix and Tubi. This is starring Jeremy Renner, Elizabeth Olsen, Gil Birmingham, Graham Greene, John Bernthal, and a bunch of other people you might recognize. A lot of Native American cast, indigenous people in it, because it is set in Wyoming on the Wind River Reservation, hence the name. So this is a tough story because it basically centers around the rape and abuse of indigenous people on the reservation by like Americans that are working there for whatever reason, and it's a little bit of a mystery. It's definitely like a crime drama.
Is it centered around one crime?
Yeah, one specific crime. Yeah, well, two. But it's basically they're trying to solve it. And Elizabeth Olsen, who plays an FBI agent that has no training on this, and also is not prepared to go to the Wyoming in the dead of winter. It's actually spring there, but it's fucking still freezing cold because it's Wyoming. And she just happens to be the closest field agent to the incident when it happens. So when it gets called in, she just flies out, and she's in just like normal street clothes. And they're like, "We have to take a snowmobile 5 miles to the body. You're gonna die if you don't like get in a snowsuit." So it's kind of interesting. It's got a great indigenous cast. Graham Greene, like I said before, is damn near everything that is centered around Native American culture. And Jeremy Renner's probably the least believable in the role.
What is he? Is he like a local?
Kind of, yeah. He'd married an indigenous woman and had a child with her, and so his best friend, or one of his very close friends, his daughter's one of the ones that's affected.
John Smith.
Yes, she got. Yes, she's the one that got crimed, and he's a tracker. So like a tracker and a hunter. So he like knows the land, is comfortable out in the land and stuff. And in the first time you're introduced to him, he's shooting wolves with the rifle from a long distance, and he's like culling the herd because of they're trying to get the cattle or whatever. So he's like helping her. He's like her liaison, Elizabeth Olsen, as she's woefully unprepared for this territory.
Like a guide, basically.
Yeah, he's kind of like a guide for her, but he's doing a kind of a gruff sort of a tough guy act, and it doesn't always land super well. I know Jeremy Renner. I think he plays snarky bad guy good.
Yeah,
like in The Town, but he doesn't do
like I guess Midwest.
Yeah, kind of like
Midwestern, like cowboy.
Yeah, he doesn't do that very well. So he's a little bit off in this, but the movie's still really fantastic.
He's no Arthur Morgan, Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah,
come on, Dutch.
I understood that reference. But yeah, this is a solid movie. It's great. Like I said, streaming on Netflix, so it's easily accessible for everybody from 2017. Very briefly, I will revisit Eastern Promises, Joseph's recommendation, streaming pick from a few weeks back. Thought it was great. Yeah, I liked it. Liked Vinny Castle. He was good.
He's always a little weasel, like
yeah,
in Black Swan and this.
Mhm.
He's always like a little unlikable good dude.
He's the like obsidian cat or something like that. He has a name. He's some sort of cat burglar in Ocean's 12.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah,
but he's good in this. It's probably one of my least favorite Naomi Watts roles. She's like not that great in it. I don't know what kind of accent she's doing, but it's weird.
Because she's a Russian too, or a Russian like or Ukrainian descent in the movie.
No, I don't think so.
Or her character has a.
I think that's her.
Has a like a Russian last name.
I think she's. Yeah, I'm not sure. She kind of vacillates in between various in my memory accents.
Yeah,
but it's more British than anything. I think maybe her.
She's Australian, isn't she?
In real life?
Is she?
I have no idea.
I feel like she is. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I don't know. I think she's American.
I get her and Nicole Kidman confused.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I think that's what you're thinking of. But yeah, she.
Oh Lord,
oh, Tyler's calling me. I'm not gonna take it though. I'm not hooking her to the board. But what was I gonna say? The Naomi Watts. So her.
What if he needs help? What if it's an emergency? Just put on speaker.
Okay, hold on. We're on the air.
We're live right now.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see if he needs anything. But the story I thought was pretty interesting, and the crime boss, the mob boss from this movie, from Eastern Promises, was pretty solid. So I won't spend any more time on it because you already talked about it. And a great all nude fight scene.
Yes.
From Viggo Mortensen. So that is streaming.
Hard to watch those knives and stuff.
Yeah, you're like it's
something about like when you're like shirtless and like you're in a knife fight. It just seems so much worse.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And then briefly, I'll talk about You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah. That is a new Adam Sandler movie. He's not like the director. He doesn't direct his movies, and I don't think he even writes them. But he's in it, and he's a producer for that.
Mm-hmm.
His two daughters, though, are the main characters from this movie. Their names are, let's see here. Jackie Sandler is his wife. She's in it for a short amount of time. But Sadie Sandler and Sunny Sandler are the two. Yeah.
The alliteration.
Sunny Sandler and
Sadie
Sandler.
And Sadie
Slippy,
Sandler.
Slappy Sandler. Samsonite Sandler. But this is it's a teen drama comedy. Actually, it's more of a teen comedy more than anything, but with some high stakes for junior hires. And it follows this 12-year-old girl who's just about to turn 13, and that's when you have your bat mitzvah. That's when you become a woman in the faith. And she's very obsessed with wanting to have the biggest party, the best party, and all that stuff. And it doesn't quite go the way she wants. And her and her friend have a little bit of a falling out, which you can see coming from a mile away. But this was very sweet and very smart. And it's just it's a great comedy. So not cutting edge and not blowing me away in any like I'm not going to be talking about this 20 years from now, but this is a really sweet movie, and you can watch it with young kids. You can watch it with adults. There's a lot of like Schadenfreude and like cringiness in it naturally because of what it is. But it's a very sweet movie. So that's on Netflix as a Netflix original called You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah, which does get said at least once in the movie.
Yeah.
And then I talked about A Time to Kill on my favorite movies of the year, first watches of the year. Fucking great. What's his name? Sam Jackson says, "Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell."
Mm-hmm.
And that was just like Joel said when he heard that line. It filled a little piece of my soul that I didn't know was missing. I don't know if that's streaming anywhere though, so I don't know if I should really talk about that here. Nah, you have to rent it somewhere. Moving on. I will say this. I'm gonna spend a little time on this. The Flash. I watched The Flash.
Okay.
Have you seen it, Joseph?
Not yet.
The Flash is getting trashed. Really, it's really getting
The Flash, more like the trash.
The trash, yeah. And if you go on Letterboxd, the highest rating it has is a 3-star.
3, right in the middle.
Short, followed by 2.5 stars, and it's like a 2.7 average. Bottoms came out recently, and it's like 4.2 average. That's like in the new comedy, Girl Fight Club, comedy with Rachel Sennott in it. and Marshawn Lynch, and I thought this movie was really fun. I really liked it. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars out of 5. I'm just gonna. My expectations were so low, but this was a very fun ride. The CGI in most of the scenes. There's a bunch of stuff with Batfleck riding around on his little bike that looks really cartoony. Batfleck is in it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's in it because that's his.
Oh, yeah.
This is his
That makes
universe.
sense.
Yeah. And
I was confused for a second. I was like, which Batman is this one?
yeah, Batfleck. The Flash Zone or whatever it's called.
The Flash Zone.
It's like he runs so hard on accident one time he like makes this like time bubble and then can go back in time. That's like the whole point of the movie. It looked like a cartoon. It looked like a bad cartoon. But after I settled into that and the tone of the movie, which was very slapsticky and very like tongue in cheek and fun, it felt like almost borderline PG-13 Deadpool. Mm-hmm. It really didn't. None of the graphics really bothered me at all. The chuckle nuts that is the young Barry, old Barry meets young Barry. It really landed well on me. I can see why it might be fine. Some people might find it grating, but I liked it. Mm-hmm. It kept the whole fun vibe of the movie very fun. It kept it like very fresh feeling for me.
Like pre-Flash and post-Flash?
Yeah, exactly. It's like this teenager who literally is like 17, and then there's like the 24-year-old or 25-year-old one. Mm-hmm. And it kept the whole thing very interesting for me. And the idea is, it's not a spoiler, he goes back, when he realizes he can go back in time, he decides he's going to go save his mom's life. Change something small and save his mom's life when she died when he was like 10, and his dad was blamed for the murder and is in jail for the murder, and they can't prove that he didn't do it. Mm-hmm. So he goes and changes a few small things to make it happen. All that stuff actually got me pretty emotional. I got weepy-eyed at some point.
Oh, really?
It's not a serious movie. It's a cartoon, but it's silly, it's fun, it's stupid, it's over the top.
You'll laugh, you'll cry,
you'll laugh at it, and with it. There's and then obviously Michael Keaton comes back as Batman. They have a slang which I thought was hilarious. They get brought up that young Barry says. He goes, man, that really beeves. And he's like, beeves? What does that mean? He goes, you don't know beeves? He's like, yeah, it beeves. It's like sick. You're like, okay. It can be taken as cringe or it can be not. I don't give a shit about any of the DC comics. I haven't even seen Batman versus Superman. So like maybe I was not invested, so I didn't care. Mm-hmm. But I laughed throughout. I had a really, really fun time with this movie. So you can watch that right now on HBO Max. Yeah, on Max. And then I'm not going to talk about this because it is so good. I think people should go in 100% blind. But the new movie just came out on Hulu yesterday. No One Will Save You. It was a brand new alien invasion, home invasion movie. Mm-hmm. Brian Duffield is the director, who I forgot his name earlier. He wrote and directed it. He wrote and directed Spontaneous, and he wrote. He wrote. What was the other thing he wrote? Oh, Love and Monsters. Really, really fun movie from like 2-3 years ago, like right in the heart of the pandemic, which got swept completely over. So he also did The Babysitter, wrote The Babysitter, and Underwater.
Underwater?
Yeah. Okay. The guy's, I mean, I'm telling you, everything I've seen that he made is really, really good.
Love a good alien invasion movie,
dude. I'm terrified of aliens. I was one of my biggest fears as a child, and they take the gray alien concept and twist it a little bit and make it into something different, and it's in your face because it's a true home invasion. So fucking great.
Burglar aliens.
Yeah. Burglar aliens. Yeah, they're beanie. It's a beanie.
We're gonna rob this place.
And there are a couple points in it that the CGI is not perfect. Mm-hmm. I don't think it matters. So turn the lights down, turn the volume all the way up, and enjoy that movie on Hulu.
Okay. Cool. So I have several movies.
Before you say that, Tyler said he was asleep.
Oh my god!
He said he overslept. He's on his way.
Too little, too late.
Yeah,
don't even.
Come on over. You can do the Totoro part. Okay. All right, continue.
How embarrassing. Okay. So, yeah, I got several movies, some streaming. Actually, one that is not streaming, but you can rent it. Okay. So, first one, caught up with Rocky 5. Have not watched Rocky 6 yet.
Ooh, you finally watched Rocky 5.
On Rocky 5.
Wait, Rocky 6 just Rocky Balboa?
Yeah, it's just Rocky Balboa.
Okay.
And this one was made 1990, and he didn't make the other one until 2000s.
Yeah, 06 or 08 or something like that. Yeah.
Rocky 5, we see a somewhat senior version of Sylvester Stallone. Definitely, it is very obvious now that he has severe brain damage, as illustrated by a doctor. It's like, you cannot do this. You cannot fight.
Oh, maybe I can fight one more fight. I need a little bit of money.
If you do that, you will die, probably.
Yeah. You already have an irreversible brain damage, and it will get worse.
Yeah. You see your brain here? See how small it is?
See these dark spots on it?
Yeah, one more of those and you're kaput.
Yeah.
But so Rocky 5, he essentially is, I guess, forced to retire from actually boxing, and he is finds himself training a new up and coming boxer,
My apprentice Tommy Gunn,
by the name of Tommy Gunn, who he is like he's like an animal. When they first see him sparring in the gym, and like he just won't let up, and he's like, "Sorry, boss, I didn't mean to do that." And he really wants Rocky to train him. And Rocky's like, "Well," and he says that.
Yeah.
And then and then he's like, "No, please, Rocky, please train me." And then I think he like denies it at first, and then I can't remember what convinces him to actually do it.
Yeah, he takes him on as a training role.
Yeah.
At some point, but it only lasts so long.
Yes, and so he's training him, and he's fighting, and he's winning fights and stuff. But the young guy, the young buck, is eager and he's anxious, and he wants to get to the big boys.
He wants the title shot.
He wants to get to the championship, wants the belt.
Mhm.
And Rocky is, for some reason, he's being very reluctant, doesn't want to do that for him. And I'm like, I don't know how much control he has over the fights he gets. I mean, he's the manager, so I guess he would.
There's managers, there's promoters, there's coaches, and I think Rocky's taking that entire thing, all the roles in one.
Yeah. And he's always been on the other side of it, so he never really had to do that. And I don't know if he's doing it just like out of just like safety or something. I have no idea. But
I think he didn't think he was ready yet, and he didn't want him to go for the title fight and then lose because he wasn't ready.
Yeah. But the other guy, Richard Gant, George Washington Duke, he's a big manager, big promoter, and he's trying to poach Tommy Gunn for him to be under his label, under his name, and he'll provide the opportunity for him.
Yeah. He's a Don King ripoff.
Yeah, and so essentially Tommy Gunn is like, you know what? Fuck you, Rocky, and I'm out of here. And I will say that this movie is not as bad as like I thought it was gonna be, or that I was told that it was. It's definitely the silliest of all of them.
Yeah.
At least of 1 through 5, it is the silliest of them. John G. Alvinson discovered hip hop and decided to throw that into the whole movie.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the worst acted, I would say. At least the writing.
Tommy Gunn's not good as far as his acting.
He's like a big dummy.
Yeah. But I want a shot at the championship.
It's definitely like, I would say, like, the silliest, probably the most entertaining and least dramatic of all of them. It's more of it's a good group watch, good group Rocky movie.
Yeah.
Well, I was like maybe Rocky 1 and 2 are like good like boxing dramas.
You can just watch alone so you can cry.
Yes, and then Rocky 3 gets a little bit more on the commercial entertaining side, and then Rocky 4 is just straight up just blockbuster entertainment.
Yeah.
And then this one is just silly comedy Rocky. But yeah, I think it fits within the pantheon of Rocky 1 through 5 for sure. We'll see on Rocky Balboa how I feel about it. But yeah, it was entertaining. It was much better than I thought it was going to be.
I just can't get over the fact that most of the movie is like Adrian trying to make sure that Rock doesn't get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, Rocky, over here. You're going to die if you do that. Well, maybe I have one more fight.
Yeah.
She's like, you can't do it.
Yeah. And all the Rocky movies are streaming on Netflix right now. I don't think they're leaving soon.
I don't think so.
But yeah, you can watch the whole Rocky 1 through 6 on Netflix. I did watch Wayne's World as well, but that's a comedy classic. Don't need to talk too much about it. Childhood favorite, still good. I caught up with The Nice Guys, Shane Black movie, Ryan Gosling, Russell Crowe. They are the best part of the movie.
First time watch?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, their characters are the best part of the movie. The plot of the movie is kind of weird. The whole case, I don't know, it's kind of strange, and I feel like the payoff for the story is not, by the end of it, is not super satisfying. But their dynamic is great, and and Ryan Gosling is great at comedy.
That little bit where he's sitting down
on the toilet,
and Russell Crowe's intimidating him is such great physical comedy.
Yeah, it's a good like slapstick, good time movie. It's a good time movie, yeah, it's just a good movie. Ryan Gosling plays like they're both PIs, or actually Ryan Gosling is a PI, and Russell Crowe is just kind of a heavy that gets sent to beat up people.
Yeah.
And Ryan Gosling, he's like an alcoholic, borderline functioning alcoholic, and his daughter drives everywhere for him for the most part. And it takes place in 70s Los Angeles, and the setting is great. The Blueface man, his character was interesting.
He's like a crackhead.
Yeah, he was like a loose cannon, but he's not in the movie that much.
Yeah.
He was kind of a menacing figure just because like he's so wily and just insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish he was kind of in it more. But yeah, the stars Russell Crowe, Ryan Gosling, Margaret Qualley's in it, Kim Basinger, but Matt Bomer, Keith David, and then the rest. Yeah, good movie. Streaming on Netflix.
I think it is on
Netflix, yeah.
And you can, if you watch it the second time, the first time I watched it, I really liked it and thought it was very funny. But same thing, kind of like story didn't quite land on me. Just like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. First time I watched it, I was like, all right, it's just a lot of going on, a little too complicated for me. On a second watch, knowing how it ends, it lands a lot better.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, good pairing for this movie, for sure. I think it's same director.
It is same writer director.
Is it?
Shane Black wrote and directed both of them.
Perfect. So you can watch that. That's on Netflix. Recommend if you haven't seen it.
I still say when someone says "and stuff," I say, "Don't say and stuff."
Oh yeah, don't say and stuff. Just say there are whores in the house.
Yeah.
Okay. I watched The Dark Knight as well because I watched Batman Begins a couple weeks ago. So slowly making my way through the trilogy again, and that's great. Don't need to tell you about that. I am making my way also through slowly Terrence Malick's filmography chronologically.
Ooh.
And I've watched 2 of them so far: Badlands and Days of Heaven. And Badlands you cannot stream anywhere; you have to rent it. I believe I had to do both of these. Badlands, released in 1973, is Terrence Malick's first feature film, starring Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek. And it is like takes place in the 50s, and Martin Sheen is kind of like this scummy, like kind of dirtbag kind of character who sees Sissy Spacek just like kind of playing on the front lawn of her parents' house where she lives. And she's a very naive girl, and it's kind of a questionable, like the story is very questionable. It's I think it's based on like a real person, a real like
is it?
Martin Sheen is anyway, his character, not the same name at all, but
just like an event that happened.
Yeah. And so she's 15, he's 25,
24, 25, something like that. Yeah.
And so they end up together. He like sees her, like approaches her, talks to her, and then they just kind of start hanging out. and she kind of lives in a stricter household. And he ends up just going on a killing spree, and killing some people, and he just ends up taking her with him
On a run.
and she is the movie is kind of guided with her narration, kind of very odd dialogue, and it's from essentially her perspective.
Yeah.
And like she's very like I don't want to say amoral, but she's just like he's killing these people and she's not feeling any sort of way about it because of her. I don't know. She's very sheltered, and she just like doesn't understand what's kind of going on.
She feels emotionless in a lot of it.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I seen it a couple months back. I
Okay.
picked it up on like dirt cheap on some sale on the Criterion version.
Yeah.
Heard so many good things about it, and I liked it. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely like going from Tree of Life and Hidden Life as like the first movies I've watched from him, then to go back to the beginning. It's like the very, very early version of Malik that we get later. And it's good. It's good. It's definitely like worth your watch. I'll probably end up picking it up on Criterion. And then I watched Days of Heaven, which is, you can stream it on Paramount Plus for sure. And this is his second movie, released in '78, so 5 years later. And this movie is so good.
Really?
It's really, really good.
Ooh, can't wait to watch that.
I liked it a lot. Stars Richard Gere, a very young Richard Gere, who kind of similar to Badlands. He doesn't go on a killing spree. He ends like kills one person. The movie starts off with him accidentally sort of killing his supervisor. He works in like a steel mill or something. And he gets into a physical argument, and then he ends up sort of accidentally doing something bad. And so him, his girlfriend, and his sister, they all get on a train and just skip town, and they end up at this farm with a bunch of other people who are also on the train and work on a farm for like seasons, like a year.
Okay.
And the farmer is Sam Shepard, a very young Sam Shepard.
Cool.
The late Sam Shepard. This movie is, the cinematography in this movie is it's so good.
Nice.
It's incredible. It's the first use of like a Steadicam type
that's
rig,
cool.
and it was very interesting to see a film camera like on that. And most of this movie is filmed at like magic hour or golden hour, and it just looks so good, and the compositions are fantastic. Like just this one shot here of
I've seen that shot before.
Of the land is great, and the way that they do some of the effects, like don't look up like how they do some of these effects because it will kind of ruin the scene a little bit.
Okay.
But like when I was watching it and like this moment came, it blew me away. It was crazy. The effect that they're pulling off, essentially a swarm of locusts, is like coming down or going up. I can't remember, but it's just like the effect is great.
Should you wait till after you watch the movie to watch the how-to or the behind the scenes?
I was on trivia. I just read it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was like kind of reading it during, but yeah, it's just this house that's in the middle of nowhere, and like they're just essentially just like, it's a wheat farm, so they're just like harvesting wheat. And there's like a love triangle with the farmer, because Richard Gere tells everybody that he's with his sister, who's actually his girlfriend, so that there's no like, I don't know, just weird looks when you tell them you're with somebody. It gets kind of weird, I guess.
Yeah.
And then so the farmer sees her and is like thinking that like, oh, she's pretty, I want to be with her, but thinking that he's like, they're just siblings, right? So it turns into this kind of weird dynamic, and then the movie is narrated by the young sister, so it's essentially from her perspective, and so you're getting like these narrations and ideas like presented to you in like a weird sort of like this happened and this happened, and like the doctor told them this, and it's like you're hearing it third hand, like the story, and it's like you're peripherally watching this movie. It's really good.
Nice.
Richard Gere is the least good actor in the movie, but Not necessarily like he's bad.
Sure.
Everybody
else is just laying it out there.
Yeah, it's great. And so I rented it on Apple TV, but I think you can stream it on Paramount.
Cool.
Dynamite stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope.
Cool. I think that's gonna call it a show for now. So if you're on Twitch land, stay tuned. We're gonna take about a 10-minute break or so. Hopefully Tyler will be here for the next half. I think he said he's on his way. And if you're in podcast land, we will see you next Wednesday.
Yeah.
So thank you to our cool ass yard duties over on Patreon. That is Javier, listener Steven, Heather Sachs, Ryan Corbin, and Chris. If you support us financially or want to, visit the Patreon page, patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass. Until next time. Thank you for joining us as we gab and chatter on this live Twitch episode. Sans Tyler. Hopefully we'll catch him later on in the week.
Yeah.
Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Twitter at Podcast MCFC and on TikTok and Instagram at Middle Class Film Class.
And follow us on, what is it? Let's see what we do.
Threads?
TikTok?
No, I already said TikTok.
Whatever. You know where to go. Go in the show notes. You can leave us a voicemail even. Have a good time. We'll see you next time.
See ya. We still went over.
a treasure. Learn science, technology. Where can you begin to make your dreams all come true? On the land or on the sea? Where can you learn to fly, play in sports or skin dive? Study oceanography. Sign up for the big band or sit in the grandstand when your team and others beat. Yes, you can sail the seven seas. Yes, you can put your mind at ease. Come on now, people, make a stand. Can you say we need a hand? Come on, protect the motherland. Come on and show your fellow man. Come on, people, and make a stand. They want you, they want you, they want you as a new recruit. If you like adventure, don't you wait to enter the recruiting office fast. Don't you hesitate, there is no need to wait. They're signing up new seamen fast. Maybe you are too young to join up today, but don't you worry about a thing. For I'm sure there will be always a good navy protecting the land and sea. Yes, you can sail the seven seas. Yes, you can put your mind at ease. Come on now, people, make a stand. Can you say we need a hand? Come on, protect the motherland. Come on and show your fellow man. Come on, people, and make a stand. They want you, they want you, they want you as a new recruit. They want you, they want you, they want you as a new recruit. They want you, they want you, they want you as a new recruit.
No, your mom's a rubber.
Yes, you can sail the seven seas. Yes, you can put your mind at ease. Come on, people, make a stand. Can you say we need a hand? Come on, protect the motherland. Come on and join your fellow man. Come on, people, make a stand.
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. But you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got troubles, well I got 'em too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. We stick together and we'll see it through. 'Cause you got a friend in me. Some other folks might be a little smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too, maybe. But none of them is ever gonna love you the way I do. It's me and you. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's my destiny. 'Cause you got a friend in me. Na-na-na, you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Ow!
Ever since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. From Soho down to Brighton, I must have played them all. But I ain't seen nothing like him in any amusement hall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. He stands like a statue, becomes part of the machine, feeling all the bumpers, always playing clean. He plays by intuition, I never seen him fall. The deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. No distractions, don't hear no buzzes and bells, don't see no lights a flashing. He plays by sense of smell, he always gets a replay, the digit counters fall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. He's a pinball wizard, he has to be a twist. A pinball wizard, he's got such a supple wrist. He's a pinball wizard, his score shoots even more.
Welcome back to the Virtual Stab Comedy Theater. Hopefully you had a good break. You're all rested up and watered and snacked, what have you. It's time for the second half of Middle Class Film Class.
Hello, Twitch.
Hi and hello, classmates. Welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class Movie Review Edition. I'm your host for today, Tyler.
I'm Peter. And I'm Joseph.
And on this episode, we're going to be reviewing my wheel on the wheel of or my pick on the wheel of destiny, My Neighbor Totoro.
Jump aboard! It's the good time fly high fantasy you've been looking for. It's a journey that will take you to heights you've always dreamed about. Hang on tight to My Neighbor Totoro. They're furry, they're cuddly, they're huge, and they're loud. And most of all, they're lovable.
Little one? I want this big?
They're invisible. Enter a beautiful new world of enchantment, where your house turns out to be a magical playground. And your neighbor is a magical Totoro. It's the fantasy
he's a Totoro.
that's bigger than your imagination. Best of all, you'll fly with Totoro. Since the time you were small, you dreamed of adventures this tall. Now, the new classic children's storybook flies to life on the screen. From world-renowned master animation director Hayao Miyazaki. An animated adventure for children of all ages. My Neighbor Totoro. A Tokuma Shoten production from 50th Street Chroma Films.
Yes, My Neighbor Totoro, which is that was a classic like vintage sort of trailer.
It definitely was pre English dubbing because that was not Frank Welker as the voice of Totoro.
Oh no,
he's more of a gravelly sort of groan rather than a oh.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
So my apologies to everyone in the room here and to our classmates. I overslept. I took a nap and I missed the Gab and Chatter. I had a lot of things lined up for the Gab and Chatter. Unfortunately,
I'm sure you did.
How dare you? Wait.
Tyler's definition of taking a nap was sitting down and staring at the clock going, you know, I could go early, so I'll just wait until the last possible fucking second, and then I'll fall asleep on the couch without an alarm on.
I know. And,
it doesn't hurt. It literally does nothing bad to be early.
I know. And I
whacking off.
Oh, that's what he's really doing.
Well, you know, I need a release before we start recording. But anyways, so My Neighbor Totoro came out in 1988, if you can believe that. Like, you look at the animation, and it's flawless. It's flawless animation. So the movie is about when two girls move to the, according to IMDb, when two girls move to the country to be near their ailing mother. They have adventures with the wondrous forest spirits who live nearby. Now, I have a pretty hot take about this movie.
Oh boy,
that we'll get into later.
We already know what it is.
Yeah, we know what it is.
Unless it's like completely off base, which the hot take is already off base.
This does not even take place on Earth.
That's not true at all. But anyways, so My Neighbor Totoro. The reason why I chose this film is because when I chose this film, I thought I
drove by a street named Totoro.
What does that even
and
mean?
I thought, wait a minute, I know a movie named that.
Yeah.
Joseph's got some spice into him. Oh my!
Yeah, we had to post the whole show by ourselves earlier today.
I know.
You should be lucky we're even letting you be here.
Yeah, we could have locked the door.
Well, you know what? I appreciate it.
You know, one time I was giving Tyler a ride. I was picking him up to give him a ride here.
Was he late to come out?
It was when it was at your previous property. And I came to your house. And you had a big window right in the front.
Oh yes, I remember that.
And I'm knocking on the door.
You walked into my house.
I'm knocking on the door, and I see him sleeping on the couch. And like I'm pounding on the door. He's not waking up.
What?
What can I say? I work myself really hard.
At that time,
form of life on Earth. You're not even human fucking being.
I don't even know where you were working at that time.
I don't know either.
It wasn't where you are now.
I've had many jobs. God damn it. So anyways, yes, so My Neighbor Totoro, let's get into some initial thoughts. Pete, what were your initial thoughts? Was this your first viewing of My Neighbor Totoro?
Well, first of all, thank you, Stab Comedy, for hosting us on Twitch.
Yes, of course.
Yes, I will chime in there. I want to give Stab their just due because they host us month after month.
Yes.
Every fourth Saturday.
Yeah.
And
we do a terrible job of promoting ourselves.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I promoted it this morning.
Yeah, and you claimed it was your show.
Well, it is my show. Well, it's our show.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Now it's our show. Now it's our. So now I thought you were all about communism. It's our show.
I thought it was the people's
it's
show.
Our show, yeah. It's for the people. But,
it is for the people.
But anyways, yeah, we're streaming live on Stab Comedy through Twitch, twitch.tv/Stab Comedy. If you want to look at
second most popular show on Stab.
All right. If you want to view our beautiful ponums, look in these show notes earlier. You can see Tyler's body double that we had in at the first half.
Yeah.
But no, I had not seen My Neighbor Totoro before. I've seen the character, the creature before.
Yeah,
but only in like
very iconic.
Yeah.
Well, he's the logo.
Yeah,
the Ghibli logo.
Is it? Oh, that's what it is. Oh, I did not. I've never really seen Ghibli's logo. It makes sense. I don't know if this is like early Miyazaki Ghibli, or if this is like one of the first ones or not. But 88's it's a fair bit. It's like 40, almost 40 years old now at this point. Like 35 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen it before. I knew that Cat Bus was from this. I knew the creature Totoro, what he looked like with the smiling face and the umbrella standing at the little bus stop or whatever. But I didn't know anything past that. So when I saw his like giant, like kind of scary looking denture teeth, you know,
his veneers.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, that's a lot more kind of like menacing looking. And the cat bus is a creepy, legitimately creepy character.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think so. It's like I'm like, I don't want to get in a cat. I don't want to get in a cat. Have to get in a cat to go places. Yeah, no, I'm okay. When he
the furry bus on the inside.
Yeah, he first pulls up and he's like, "Hey, get in." I'm like,
What? No,
can't do that. No,
it's got a creepy face. There's
Yeah.
that shot at the end where the cat face is just a background of them two staring at each other.
And it's also the sounds are creepy. It's not like it sounds like a bus with a little bit of cat influence. It's all cat. It rolls up. It's like,
yeah,
it's awesome.
It sounds almost sexual. It sounds almost sexual. Like this
Get
is
in me
his
right
kink.
now.
Yeah.
Wait, so that's what your takeaway from this film is?
No,
Is that the
I'm just scratching the surface.
Okay.
My initial thoughts were that it's very hard to beat the background animation. I'm not in love, like absolutely in love with the foreground stuff, you know, like the main characters moving around and all that kind of stuff. But the beautiful aspect of all these, like even just the kind of halfway rundown house, when they first get to it, you can see there's so much like life in that house. You know, you can see it's been lived in.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the creativeness of the different creatures and the way that the Totoro or Totoros, it's not entirely sure. You're not entirely clear about if those are like baby Totoros or whatever, like an adolescent and a baby and a daddy.
Yeah,
Totoro.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because it's like Totoro is like not necessarily his name. It's like it's just a name.
It's a title.
It's a like Totoro is like a troll.
It's a Totoro. It's a Totoro. So it should be called My Neighbor a Totoro.
Yeah.
My Neighbor is a Totoro.
Yeah.
But yeah,
species.
I liked that. I liked the like simplicity of it and how it's just like, oh, now he can fly and bounce around on one foot.
Like Mary Poppins.
Yeah, he's Mary Poppins, y'all.
Oh yeah, he's a spiritual creature.
I guess. But I liked it. I liked how he was kind of like a woodland nymph. He was one with nature, and just kind of like the weird lore behind it that never quite gets explained. I liked it. I liked that a lot. And I really enjoyed the way that the animators are able to capture like the real nature of like young children, because you have the sister and then the younger sister, and the younger sister is like copying everything the bigger sister does, and if she's sad, the younger sister's sad, and when she's happy, the younger sister's happy, and it's like it was really adorable.
So you liked it overall? Like,
yeah, I thought it's a vibe. It's a total vibe in a good way, as the Zoomers would say. Yeah, it's a vibe. Yeah.
All right, Joseph, what was your initial reaction and thoughts on My Neighbor Totoro, and was this your first watch as well?
No, I've seen this probably like 10 times. At this
Oh
point.
wow,
Deanna's a stan, huh?
I mean, this is not Deanna's favorite Ghibli movie.
I like how
she's a Ghibli. I guess she would be Ghibli stan-esque. She's a stan for like Spirit Away.
Okay.
I'm a stan for Mononoke. And
oh really?
And she's a stand for Howl's Moving Castle. She likes the book more than the movie, but the movie's still really good.
There's a book.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's a Howl's Moving is a book.
Howl's Moving book.
Yeah, Howl's Moving Dojo, Mojo Dojo, Casa Castle. But yeah, so there's Totoro. Totoro was like my introduction to like Ghibli movies.
Oh wow,
it was like one of the first ones that I watched. I think it was the first one that I watched because I hadn't really know, like I didn't really know at the time that Ghibli was a whole thing,
sure,
its own sort of genre.
Yeah.
So I've seen this like the most. It feels like the shortest movie ever. Because the movie, movie flies by. It's an hour and 30. The movie flies by. Like every time I watch it, it's like I'm surprised it's over already. Because the plot in this movie is very loose, and
sure,
like Pete said, I would call it almost a nothing movie, and because there is no like there's no conflict really, and there's no like there's no
nothing movie.
There's not much of like a
Nothing
climactic moment. There are like intense moments, but like nothing like really that is like overarching the whole story.
There's nothing at risk.
Well, yeah, when she thinks that the little sister is drowned in the pond, that was pretty intense. I was like, is this going to take a really dark turn? Is Totoro going to be an allegory for, you know, children's death like Peter Pan, and she's gonna go live in the tree trunk with it?
Yeah.
But it's not like that story started and then ended.
Yeah,
it was just a very small segment of the story at the end.
Yeah. I mean, you're presented with the backdrop of like sick mom, and you know that's like that is a concern through the movie because you know that the little kids are concerned, and it's Elle Fanning and Dakota Fanning, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's perfect that they're sisters, and they're both little kids playing little kids, but they're both little kids aware that they're playing little kids, and they're playing little kids as good as like a real little kid. I feel like they're so fucking annoying. But
we're on the edge.
But they're very cute at times. There's a lot of very cute moments, like when she's running around the house because she's scared of the old lady.
Yeah,
and then
pops back out and the lady's there again.
Yeah, and then she there's that scene where she's crying in front of Kanto, holding the corn, and she just lets out that like high pitched like sort of scream, and she just like walks away as she's like crying with her mouth wide open. It's very funny. And it's like, the movie is just like it's things are happening, and there's nothing like essentially like I feel like nothing's really driving it. Other than like just them discovering Totoro, and then they just get into the shenanigans with Totoro.
Like, Dad, we discovered a Totoro. That's nice, that's nice, honey.
Yeah. And the dad, he works in town, and the mom is living in the hospital because she's sick. And the kids are just up to their kid stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite Ghibli movie either, but it's definitely a good. Definitely a good movie to watch.
What's your favorite Ghibli movie?
Like I said, I was a stan for Mononoke.
Mononoke? That's that? Okay.
Yeah, that's in my opinion. I mean, I haven't seen his newest one, but
I know.
Mononoke is the best one.
Okay.
Because of the subject matter and the animation and the music, and I mean, the music is like constantly good throughout all Ghibli movies. Even in this one, and but yeah, Spirit Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Mononoke, they're all very top tier Ghibli movies. And I've seen Nausicaa, and I think Nausicaa is a little older than this. Valley of the Wind,
84.
Yeah. And then I think Grave of the Fireflies came out the same year as this one.
That one is a brutal watch.
I've seen Porco Rosso that has Michael Keaton.
Yeah, that was you streaming picked that.
That's a very good one. Palm Poco is very weird.
Yeah.
You have the raccoons with the inflatable balls. It's very weird.
Panda Go Panda, 1972 from Miyazaki.
But there was a moment.
Looks like the oldest.
Where every birthday or Christmas I would get Deanna like a Ghibli movie. Whichever had come out, even if she hadn't seen it. So like, we have a huge collection of Ghibli movies. But Totoro is good. It's great.
I got to see the collection because I helped Joseph move. Tyler, where were you?
I was asleep probably.
Yeah,
probably.
or delivering your packages. Anyways,
I've only seen Spirited Away, now Totoro, Howl's Moving Castle, and Princess Mononoke, and I agree. I think Mononoke is my favorite.
I want to agree. I want to agree with you guys about Mononoke.
You don't have to agree. It's your own personal choice. You know, taste.
But it's so long. It's so long. Like it's a really like you really have to be invested into this movie.
It doesn't take much to be invested in that movie.
It's beautiful.
It is. The animation is great. Anyways, this is my, if you can believe it, second viewing of My Neighbor Totoro, and
I don't believe you.
I don't know if I can believe that.
Well,
Nope, can't.
Well,
I don't believe it. I don't
You
believe it.
just woke up. I don't even. You might be in a fugue state right now. You don't even know what you're saying.
I'm in a fugue state.
First of all,
so this is my second viewing of My Neighbor Totoro, and the reason why I chose this movie was because I was feeling in like a really wholesome sort of state. I was feeling childish. I was like, you know what? Like, I keep picking depressing films.
What was the last movie?
Oh, I can't remember.
Outsiders.
Oh yeah, The Outsiders. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Was that depressing? I didn't watch it.
Oh yeah, you didn't. I forgot you weren't on that episode. You still haven't seen it yet?
You didn't watch it.
Is it depressing?
I mean, there's some depressing parts in it. When a kid gets burned alive while trying to save school children.
No.
But it takes him
Yeah.
4 days to die, so don't worry. He suffered.
Nice.
Anyways, I kept.
It was Rango actually before that. Outsiders, then
That's
Rango.
not depressing.
Yeah.
Rango is depressing. What are
No,
you
Rango's
talking
dope.
about?
Rango's dope.
What are you talking about?
Everybody
You
gets
feel
their
sad
comeuppance.
when it's over.
Yeah,
I'm sad.
I felt a little bit of
Melancholy.
I couldn't say it better myself. Yeah, melancholy.
Anyway,
so after watching My Neighbor Totoro with the critical eye, my face was dewy with tears. Like the music that Hugh Miyazaki puts in his films is just it just hits like a heartstring in me, and I don't know what it is, but every time I hear every time they go to the tree, like the big tree.
Mm-hmm.
the composer Joe Hisaishi,
Yeah,
is
every
really good.
every time they
Does he do all the Ghibli stuff?
Most of them at least.
Yeah, oh yeah, it has to be. But every time they go to like that big tree and they like do that like
Okay. Yeah.
and
nice.
it just invokes like this crazy nostalgia.
Even the opening song, "Hey, let's go." Did you watch it in English?
Yes, yes.
Did you watch it in English? Or Japanese?
Yeah, I watched it in English. Yeah.
I mean, it's good in English.
Yeah.
The opening track, "Hey, let's go." That's a banger. It's it's sung by I forgot her name. Like she is the singing actress for Jasmine and Mulan.
Oh, I thought it was Shania Twain. But anyways, yeah. So like this movie, it just and with all of Studio Ghibli movies, like it invokes like this melancholic nostalgia, like that I can't even explain like why it makes me weep.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's not like a sadness weep, like it's not like me longing for something.
It's an
like,
emotion dump.
It's just me, like that's it. Kind of just
You're edging on the line of bittersweet.
Yeah, I guess so. It just it kind of like it's such good storytelling. It just like pulls you in and like it makes you feel like a what was that?
Let's drink some water.
You gassy mess.
I wouldn't even necessarily call it good storytelling, but it's immersive world building to where you feel like you're right.
What do you mean you wouldn't call it good storytelling? It's great.
I mean, it's fine. There's not much story to be had there. The world building to me is more, and again, this is just me. It's not
okay.
saying that you're wrong.
Potato with storytelling and world building.
Okay, I guess. Okay, I can see where you're coming from. So I guess you
This
can
is
say
this is not an attack, Tyler. That's just my
no.
opinion. That's just my
I'm not saying I'm not. I don't feel attacked.
You didn't make the move.
I don't feel attacked. But anyways,
you have stock in this movie.
Going
yeah,
yeah, back from 1988. But back to my initial thoughts. yeah, it still it holds up. Like it's a timeless classic. Like you would even like if you told someone right now that My Neighbor Totoro was made in 1988, you wouldn't believe it.
I believe it.
I would.
Yeah, believe it. Feels right.
I mean,
about
the
there.
animation, like watching it on Max.
Yeah,
when I watched it on
Yeah,
Max,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
very crisp. Like the lines are very clean, but there's that quality, that 80s sort of. There's like a fade over it.
It's an 80s sheen.
Yeah, it's got that the 80s
What?
sheen.
I don't know about that, but
It's playing off your.
what is this?
Oh, it is. Oh,
Yeah.
bummer. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Okay.
Anyways,
Continue.
Loved it, and I can't wait to show my and our little ones this movie at one point in time. I hope.
My little one's getting aborted.
I don't like that, but
The
anyway.
thought of my little one even in the same room with your little one
Wait,
makes me want to just
what is there? Why is that?
the main Totoro thing.
Joseph's dying over there.
I'm dying.
As Totoro theme song kicks in. Isn't that
Pete's having to hold him back.
Isn't that the Totoro? Isn't that the like iPhone alarm song? Boo, 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 boo.
Yeah.
Boo, 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 boo. Is that
I
where
mean-
is that where Steve Jobs stole it from?
I wouldn't. I don't doubt it at all. I don't
The
doubt it
Main,
at
like
all.
a default phone.
Yeah, the default
ring.
song. Yeah. Yeah, that song it's a catchy song, and I can't really say anything bad about the movie. Like, I know it sounds like I'm not like heaping praise on it, because I'm not. I do think it's a really good movie. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it doesn't have to be everything. It's a perfectly wonderful, chill vibe. You're living in this like beautiful landscape with these kids and the parents, and just watching them walk to school is
It's a middle of the day if you're at home on a Saturday movie.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Open all the windows, put on some My Neighbor Totoro. Just-
Take a nap and disappoint your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a lo-fi beats to study to type movie.
Yes. The animation is just. I would compare it to
The Simpsons. Yes, I know. Actually, you know what's great?
I compare it to Ghost in the Shell or Akira. You know, like all of those classic.
Akira screams 80s though.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yes,
So it's great. All the content we got after or because of Totoro and the references to this movie is an episode of Bob's Burgers where it turns into Ghibli style animation and they're all like outside on a farm and doing that little like making the tree grow.
yeah.
and they're like flying
do the
around
hands
it.
up.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen that one. That's cool.
It was great.
Yeah, that's a great episode.
I think that's probably my favorite scene is when because like I like in movies when there's characters doing things that make sense to them, but it doesn't make sense to the audience.
Mhm.
And it's like you don't have to be explained every little bit, but they plant the seeds. Seeds
Mhm.
aren't growing earlier in the movie, and then the three Totoros come by. You know, Mo, Larry, and Curly come by, and they start doing the little wave dance, and the little girls are doing it with
Yeah,
them. And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, this is adorable. They're copying the oh my god, here comes a fucking tree.
Yeah.
And then a humongous tree comes out of nowhere, and the dad's just like, that seems weird. No one comments
if you
on
see
it.
if you see in the background, he's working away. He's doing his pages. And-
Yeah, that's fine.
It's kids having imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it so? Is it did the tree not come?
No, because the next morning, the dad comes out and like there's like things growing out of the ground.
Oh, okay.
And
I missed that bit.
I mean, I hate to break the spirits of everyone, but those girls aren't alive. They're
okay.
They're not. They're not.
Tell us your theory.
Tell us
your
go
theory,
through the
Tyler.
motions.
Tell us your theory about how they're
Go
all.
through the motions.
This is
Joseph
not
says.
this is not an original thought.
What do you mean it's not an original thought? What are you?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going ahead. But yeah.
He's pulling out a notebook.
Yeah, and I'm checking it twice. Yeah, so no, the girls aren't alive. They are a ghost or a figment of imagination to the dad. So so let's go back to the beginning of the story.
Okay.
In the story, in the movie, the dad moves to the countryside, right, with his supposedly two little girls, and the mom is in the hospital because she's probably infirmed with like some sort of cancer that can't be cured, and or something. There's some disease that prevents her from being able to live like in her residential house. And so the reason why I think that they aren't alive is one, they can see the spirits of the forest. They can see the soot sprites. They can see Totoro and the other Totoros, and they can see Granny, because Granny, she, I believe, is a seer.
She can see them, but the dad introduces the kids to Granny.
Right, but I think I think that's kind of like a weird sort of thing where
Why is it that the entire village is looking for this missing girl then?
Because she's dead.
But wait. At what point are they dead?
At the beginning of the movie.
So even before the movie starts, they're dead?
Yeah.
So then why are they looking for her?
Why are they looking today for the little girls?
Because he probably had like a mind break, and he was like, "Oh, my girl, she's missing." And like the village, like who doesn't know this man, was like, "Oh my god, okay, let's find." And then they find the missing sandal in the river.
Oh, and before you continue, isn't that seem very dark? Regardless, they're like, "Is this her shoe?" And they're like, "No." Oh, thank God, it was someone else.
Someone else. Yeah.
Some other child drowned in that pond.
You see someone crying in the background.
I know. One person's like, maybe that was my daughter's.
Yeah. But here is the we're gonna there's not really any spoilers to this movie, but
no, there's no spoilers.
But here's the major point of my theory is that when they go to the hospital to visit their mother at the end of the movie, they're on the tree and they're looking at the dad and the mom in the hospital.
I thought they were in their house. Weren't they in their house?
No, they
at the end
on
of the movie.
Yeah,
they're on the branch.
They're on the branch.
I know the kids are on the branch, but weren't they in the branch on the tree outside of their house looking in?
Oh,
and
no,
the mom came home.
No, it was outside of the hospital because she couldn't come back.
I'm pretty sure it was
had,
a hospital.
She
her
had
and her Martian head couldn't come home.
Yeah, funny how they made the oldest daughter have the same hairline, like way far back hairline.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's kind of weird way to draw the daughter. And then like, oh, the mom's the same way.
She got a 6 head.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they mention it in kind of like midway into the movie.
So what's your ace in the hole here?
Yeah,
that they were on the branch with the Totoro.
So
and well, their spirit.
So how did they die?
Their spirits.
I don't think in Tyler's
I don't
scenario
know how they died. They probably drowned in a river or something. I don't know.
But the theory is that the actual theory, and this is your paraphrase version of it.
Okay.
Is that they are dead, and Totoro is the god of death, and they died, or May dies first because they find the shoe, and then the mom is also dead or dies at some point, and then the older sister dies after. And then there's also at the very end of the movie, they didn't have any shadows. They didn't have any fucking shadows. But that means they're dead.
Is that how my voice sounds?
No, it's a well-established fan theory.
It's a theory that's been around for a long time, and it's interesting, but it's more annoying than interesting.
How is it annoying?
Because there's no point for it to be in the movie.
Look, so superficially, this movie is a very sweet, wholesome experience.
Superficially, I would say actually.
Yeah, so let's. I'm all for like
superficially the kids are dead.
I'm all for finding dark, gritty ways to interpret things like like Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
Like I said earlier, it's like
Ash, the little roses, rosy like ashes to like the plague.
Ring Around the Rosie.
Ring Around the Rosie. Yeah.
No, I'm all for like finding like interesting and kind of like off the wall ways to interpret stuff. But like, leave Totoro alone. This is fine. This is it's about as wholesome and sweet as you can get.
Also, kids can see Totoro. Not only dead people can see Totoro.
Yeah, they can only the soot sprites can only be seen by the kids too.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I
thought you wanted a wholesome movie, darling. Why do you gotta bring death into this?
Well, you know it. You know, after the after the week that I had, like I was regretting it. I was just like, but I don't know. I like the idea of,
that they're dead.
That they're dead. Like,
why? Why do you like that?
Because it gives a lot of it gives a lot of oomph to the character for the dad, because the dad doesn't really have like a lot of character development. Like
he's fine. He's just doing his thing.
Yeah, well, exactly. He's just doing his thing. But when you consider that, like, he's imagining,
why introduce conflict to his life? His wife is already dying.
Yeah, that's the conflict. He's just trying to have a sunny demeanor for his poor young children while their mother is on her deathbed.
He does have a sunny disposition to him. I will agree with that. But,
and even like art, obviously, can be like the art is made and then it can be interpreted however it wants or how people want to interpret it.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
like David Lynch says,
and the artist has no say in what people take out of their art.
Yeah,
but even the producers and creators of this are like, they don't want people to think this theory at all about this movie, because why would they want that for this kids movie?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think Hayao Miyazaki, like he likes.
Are you saying Hayao Miyazaki?
That's how it's pronounced,
pretty,
right?
Pretty sure it's Hayao.
Okay, so Hayao. I apologize.
What do we know? What do we know?
I apologize,
Americans.
Miyazaki, though, like I think he would appreciate a complex view on his. I
don't know. Maybe he might, because a lot of his movies have a dark element to it. But I don't. Think this one
look
does.
at Spirited Away.
Yeah, Spirited Away's got a lot of that.
That has
that one is more that a theory applies to.
Mm-hmm.
That theory definitely more applies to Spirited Away.
Are you saying like the main character,
like the dead?
They're in the
after, the dead kid or the dead parents.
Yeah, they're in the afterlife doing all those things.
I see. But I mean, I'm not saying like I subscribe to like that theory. Like I can watch this movie in both ways. Like
flip that switch.
That's exactly right.
I want to be a pessimist. Turn on.
Well, you know what's interesting is the film is partially autobiographical.
About Miyazaki's life.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when Hayao Miyazaki and his brothers were children, his mother suffered from spinal tuberculosis. Yes, for 9 years, and spent much of her time hospitalized. It is
that's super sad.
Implied, yet never revealed in the film, that Satsuki and May's mother also suffers from tuberculosis, as she was hospitalized in a sanatorium, a specialized hospital.
That's what Wyatt Earp had in Tombstone.
Spinal,
no tuberculosis.
Oh,
just the lungs. Yeah,
that's what Arthur Morgan has in Red Dead Redemption.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
that's what they call him, a lunger in Tombstone, because he's always coughing up blood.
Yeah. Which caused the whole family to move to the countryside. He once said the film would have been too painful for him to make if the two protagonists were boys instead of girls.
It'd be
Interesting.
too close to home.
So he just
Yeah.
made him daughters.
Made them daughters. Yes.
There's a movie I talked about a long time ago on the show called Wolf Children from 2012.
Oh yeah.
Directed by Mamoru Hosoda, and
it was Japanese too.
Yes, it's impossible that movie has no inspiration from Ghibli stuff, because the animation style is definitely different, but the beautiful backgroundscapes are beautiful, or they're just wonderful. And in this movie, in Wolf Children, it's instead of the dad raising the two daughters by himself, it's the mom raising the two daughters by herself.
Mm-hmm.
And they also move out into the country to a house, and she has to fix it up and get it cleaned and learn how to live out there. And it's like there's too many, and there's also a connection with nature, and there's like this other side to the children.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's called Wolf Children, and they can basically turn it back and forth into wolves. And it's really, really worth watching if you haven't seen it. It's worth seeking out. It's kind of hard to find. But it would be a great companion piece to Totoro, and unfortunately, I saw that first, and I think I like that one a lot better than My Neighbor Totoro.
Wolf Children.
Yeah, Wolf Children. It's a really fantastic movie.
Is there more narrative structure to it?
Yes, there's a straight ahead structure, and it's still more of just a slice of life from these kids' perspective, and the mom's perspective. It honestly tells three tales: the two daughters, and the mom. So it starts out with just the mom, and then when the kids come along, it's still kind of from the perspective of the mom, but you see a lot of the kids' life. In this one, it's more just about the children.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny, as I was watching it, I'm like, man, I wish I was watching Wolf Children.
If you had,
unfortunately.
So My Neighbor Totoro, like, I think we can all agree that the animation is just phenomenal, especially for 1988. Hayao Miyazaki is a stickler for attention to detail, and you can really tell by some of the scenes.
Yeah, I think the background is way more impressive than the foreground, like I said earlier. But yeah, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
I mean, there is like some like I don't know if it's called static shots or whatever, like with like like a babbling brook and stuff like that. Those were just insanely beautiful, and I feel like those shots were the ones like he put like really care into it, and it really made you it really like grabbed you into the movie. Like, I don't think the story was important. I think that the whole idea of like like the mom being in the hospital and like the dad moving out and like the whole tuberculosis sort of thing that I just went over, I think that was kind of like a second part of what he was trying to do, and
I think that's why
he was trying to do was
that's why Joseph calls it a nothing movie. Not necessarily in a dismissive way, but it's like that the story's secondary to just the world that you're living in and the vibe of the whole thing.
I mean, you're also just in the kids' world, and they know nothing.
Yeah.
Well, and they're not aware of what's going on with their mom, other than that she's in the hospital and that she's sick, and we don't see her that much because we're stuck with the kids the whole time.
And they can't even pronounce troll. Idiots.
I mean, it reminds me of my favorite manga artist, Kentaro Miura, who famously had rest in peace. He
did Berserk.
Yeah, and he was.
You may be the first person to ever compare My Neighbor Totoro to Berserk.
This is just like Berserk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well,
I think Mei is just like Guts, in my opinion. Just off the rails, brutal bloodlust.
I know.
Lives by her own code.
Yeah. I heard that when she was born, she was delivered while her mother was hanging from a tree. But anyways, yeah, this movie, it's so. Oh, are we running on time?
We're getting up there.
Okay.
What was that? Oh, are we running on time?
That's what this means.
Joseph has a lot of venom in him today. My goodness.
Maybe you should come on time. Or actually, just come at all.
Oh, okay. Anyways, yeah, I love this movie a lot, and I weeped a lot. Maybe because I was in a vulnerable state, but it's so goddamn wholesome. It's so wholesome, and
you say you wept a lot.
I did.
You said that.
I did.
You said that before you even watched the movie, though. Like, do you cry every time you watch this movie?
You've only seen it twice.
Well, no. Spirited Away was what I was talking about. That when I said that statement. Every time, because I've seen Spirited Away more than My Neighbor Totoro, and every time I hear the Spirited Away song,
the music,
you don't have to.
It just it evokes something in me, and so when I watched My Neighbor Totoro, like I was just like, oh Jesus Christ!
Maybe it's
like,
just Ghibli stuff that gets you going.
I think it is like
revs
it's
your motor.
It just
whacking off.
I won't say I'm not going to say that I
pants around your ankles when you're watching.
That's for Mononoke.
These young kids.
Princess Mononoke is a clothing optional movie.
Yeah.
Forest spirit.
That's true. So, anyways, I mean, I think Granny was awesome. I really wish I had like some sort of matriarch that was in my life like that.
Did you have a mom?
Well, no, I mean, yes, of course I have my mom, but like, you know, like a grandmother, like, but who isn't my grandmother? Just like
an old woman.
Like just
what about that homeless person you gave those 2 cigarettes to?
Oh, well,
she could be your grandma.
Yeah, she could be like the same figure.
I guess so. Yeah.
You know what?
The 2 nails that I gave her, like that might have put me in good
Maybe her
graces
name is
with
Guts.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we've waxed on about this movie enough. Let's get some gradings on this movie. Pete, what would you give My Neighbor Totoro?
I'm gonna say this is an A-. A-. Yeah. Beautiful animation, wonderful characters, cute stuff, absolute vibe of a movie.
Sure.
I read in the trivia that it's who was it? Roger Ebert's like one of his favorite he called it one of the most beloved of all family films, and I can see that.
Yeah.
It's I'm very glad I finally got around to watching it. Probably not going to be like a big rewatch anytime soon.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, I think I just was spoiled because I loved Wolf Children so much, and this is, in my opinion, it laid the groundwork for movies like that. But that did it. I think it's a different type of movie. There's a lot more narrative structure to it. There's a lot more moving pieces, and the characters are deeper and richer. But that just resonated so much with me. So Totoro, still fantastic. It's an easy recommend to anybody that hasn't seen it. And go, you ever want an endorphin boost? Go watch this.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, that's a ringing endorsement for My Neighbor Totoro. Joseph
and Wolf Children.
And Wolf Children. Yes. Please check that out, classmates. Joseph, what would you give My Neighbor Totoro?
Probably an A- as well. Yeah. Pretty much what Pete said. I mean, it's like I said earlier, it's a nothing movie, but it is a movie about children just finding their fun in life when they know their mom's sick, they know something bad is happening, or not something not good at least. Maybe just not to the extent of the seriousness of it. But they're just, adapting to this new place, and it's like a Mary Poppins. Like Totoro is the Mary Poppins, and but only kids can see her or him, them.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of wish there was more Totoro. That's my one complaint about this Totoro movie.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It's great that he is very he doesn't really speak, like converse with them.
Just vibes.
He's just screams in their face and flies around with a little umbrella. Like sounds like Ludo.
That's a good one.
Ludo
Wow.
from Labyrinth.
Smell bad.
But yeah,
Frank Welker, one of the greatest.
but yeah, it's the least dramatic Ghibli movie, or at least one of the least dramatic Ghibli movies, and it's
Sure.
just a good kids movie overall. A good, I mean, all ages movie. Yeah, music's great.
Awesome.
Story's there.
So 2 A minuses from Pete and Joseph. I give this an A plus. I love this movie so much, and it just evokes like this weird nostalgia for me, and I don't know, like it just works. It just works for me, and so yeah, and a solid A plus for me, like a solid A.
So
plus.
A plus plus.
Well, I no, not A plus plus, but just an A plus. It's great. It's a great movie. Would I say it's my favorite Ghibli movie? No, it's not. But it ranks up there.
Oh.
And so now we get to the Wheel of Destiny.
1 wheel, 8 slots, 3 hosts. This is the Wheel of Destiny.
How fitting! We're watching an animated movie, and we got our Wheel of Destiny theme song from another anime.
Look at that.
Feels right appropriate. So Tyler, why don't you give us your replacement for My Neighbor Totoro?
Okay, so we're gonna take a dark turn here. We're gonna take a very dark turn.
You said you were tired. You got your wholesome fix.
Just one.
So
One
just,
for the
just
year.
one.
Yeah. No.
Wait, is this? Would this be your third in a row?
Yeah, he can't host next week.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't even know if I would be allowed to, anyways, based on my behavior.
Mhm. Yeah, take your medicine.
Yeah. American History X.
Okay.
I've been seeing a lot of clips on TikTok, and
I'm gonna go on your phone, and I'm gonna ban
Don't
that
you dare.
app.
Don't you dare.
And I know you don't know how to unban it, so
Yeah, I know you.
You're gonna put a timer on it.
I know. I told Tyler, I said, "How about this? How about you set a timer between on the break today? Set an alarm every Saturday at 11:20. Leave my house in the next 5 minutes to go to Pete's house for the podcast. Then you'll be here early every time." And he's like, "Okay, I'll get to it." I'm like, "No, pull it out of your pocket right now." And he pulled out of it and he goes, "How do I do that?" I'm like, "You have the most technologically advanced piece of equipment in your ever known to humankind in your that has been available to like the general public in your pocket that your parents buy for you every 6 months.
What can
and
I
you
say?
don't even know how to use the alarm
What can I say?
to be here on time?
I'm a buffoon. I'm aloof. I
You're
don't know what. I
No,
don't
you're a
know.
30-year-old adult."
Yeah,
So I showed Tyler how to do it. He's got the alarm. He said, "All right, on that, I have no excuse now."
Yeah, Deanna's dad just got an iPhone. He's had a Droid for years. And just got an iPhone, and I think you're on the same level of knowledge of iPhone.
Okay, so before we spin the Wheel of Destiny, we have a different wheel we need to spin.
What have I done?
I forgot about this.
You made your bed. Now it's time to sleep in it. Take your medicine. This is the Wheel of Punishment.
Yeah.
For those not familiar with our show, who are here just watching on the Twitch stream, we have a Wheel of Punishment for when someone does what Tyler just did.
Yes.
Or other transgressions.
Yeah.
I have a minor punishment to pay off for Joel.
You do?
Actually, no, I don't. I have one for Dallas though. I'm sorry. I did my one for Joel. I watched Demolition Man.
Yeah.
Talked about it.
Yeah, punishment movie. That's a punishment movie?
He said you can forego your punishment if you want to do Demolition Man instead. Talk about it.
Okay.
He was gracious enough. Thank you.
Oh, it's
Joel.
Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd.
Oh yeah, Judge.
I don't think so.
I remember you talked about it.
I always get those two mixed up. That's the problem. So, anyways, I have one for Dallas, listener Dallas, because he joined the Patreon, and then I never sent his stuff out, and we never reached out to him. There was an overlap in my, system that I have. So I have that I'm going to pay off next week.
Okay.
But Tyler has one that we need to set up here, right here on the show.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I have my list here. I don't know how many more have been added, but I'll just add them all to the spinning wheel of
Sure. Yeah. However way you want to do it.
The Baby Genius series, the 1998 Avengers. Simon Says, House of the Dead, The Hip Hop Witch.
I've heard The Hip Hop Witch is terrible.
Exchange, just with an X. Weirdsville.
Okay.
The Amityville movies, not the original Amityville. Zeros and Ones. Hotel Poseidon. The Bubble. Blonde.
The Bubble sucks.
And then there's 3. I have Joseph Bridges slots here. I think he submitted 3 movies.
Oh, okay. Oh, to the
punishment list. He sent an email or something.
Well, he does. Oh, did he? Okay, but he also has the middle class film class punishment list on Letterboxd.
Oh, does he have a list?
He's got a whole list. Remember?
He has a whole list.
I think that's what it is, and I think that counts for his. We put like three entries on him.
Ryan's Empire.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm at odds with that, Ryan. I don't even recognize that as a movie. That's an art project.
Yeah.
So spin it however you want, Joseph.
Okay. Let me I'm just gonna put all of these on here.
Okay. We did not set this up ahead of time. Obviously, this is
we did not.
This is all on the fly.
Happening live.
Yeah.
Okay. And is it what? Just for Tyler.
Just for Tyler.
Just for Tyler. You gotta watch 2 movies.
Okay.
And it's gonna be a Joseph Bridges selection.
Great. Let's see here. So I'm gonna go to his page.
How do we pick that?
I'm just gonna pick one at random.
Okay.
So we have the and Joseph. Thank you, man, for the interaction, because he's got he's got a wealth of knowledge. He even made me a pre-1970s movie list on Letterboxd I've been picking through and watching. One of them I didn't get to talk about just because there was too much to talk about. Scandal Sheet. I mentioned that in my movies that I watched in the last 3 weeks. It's pretty damn good. So the middle class film class movies of punishment list. There's 24 movies in here.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's see. How about you watch Things. Things.
Things.
From 1989, directed by Andrew Jordan.
Yeah, I've seen that one before.
You've seen it before? Okay, well we're not giving that to you then.
Oh, what?
Nope.
What? I already wrote it down in my phone.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna have to delete it. Too bad. Okay, then how
Can
about?
you show me how to delete things?
Yeah. How about Skidoo?
Skidoo.
Skidoo, 1968.
Ooh, 68.
Yeah.
Wait, Skidoo.
Like Skidoo.
Yeah. Skidoo, yeah.
Like the
like a Skidoo.
Like, yeah.
Ex-gangster Tony Banks is called out of retirement by mob kingpin God to carry out a hit on a fellow mobster, Blue Chips Packard. When Banks demurs, God kidnaps his daughter Darlene on his luxury yacht. What the fuck?
God?
Okay.
Wow, listen to the cat. Listen to the name of this cast: Jackie Gleason, Carol Channing, Frankie Avalon, Fred Clark, Frank Gorshin, Cesar Romano.
I've heard of
Cesar Romano.
Mickey Rooney, Groucho Marx.
What the fuck?
Wow, Slim Pickens.
I've heard at least
3
people.
How old is this? How old is this movie?
Did you not write down 1968?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't.
And this surprisingly
pay attention to the.
This surprisingly has a pretty decent ratings.
So this is a punishment movie, huh?
Apparently, it's extremely bizarre. Oh, Michael Elliott rated it 2 out of 4 stars.
2 out of 4?
Yeah, he calls it an extremely bizarre comedy that has gangsters battling hippies in the lovin' 60s.
You can watch it on Plex.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so that is going to be Tyler's punishment movie, which he will pay off next week. And along with that, we have one of these 8 movies. We have Possessor, Uncut from Pete, Call Me By Your Name from Pete, Arachnophobia and American History X will not be chosen from Tyler next week. Then we have Cat in the Hat from Joseph, Equilibrium from Joseph, and Unfinished Life from Mitch, and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy from, I don't know, is it Alan?
Who? Hitchhikers?
Yeah, Hitchhiker's to the Galaxy. I didn't write the name on there. It must have got erased.
I don't have that on my.
Hold on.
Well, that's on the Patreon.
It is on the Patreon, which I have a little page here for that. Let's see here.
I don't have it.
Patreon trivia.
I don't got that shit.
Yeah, but Patreon bonus, trivia intros and rules.
So many documents.
I know, I got a lot of documents for this damn show. Well, it's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'll fill it in later. It got erased. So, okay, so we're gonna give this a spin, and we'll see what we watch next week.
It's a good spin.
Short spin.
It is Possessor Uncut.
Possessor Uncut?
Yes, Possessor.
Just like me.
So this is the European version of Possessor. So Possessor is the second feature-length film from David Cronenberg's son, Brandon Cronenberg.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So
What was his
we were
first
talking
one?
about that last week.
It's called Antiviral.
No.
You were saying he was better than his father.
I've seen 2 of his 3 movies now. I've seen Possessor and I've seen Infinity Pool, and I have not seen Antiviral yet. But from what I've seen so far, I'm already more of a fan of him than David Cronenberg.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that there's more. There's a big history, and I don't want to say. Okay, I'll take that back. I'm not a bigger fan of him yet, but I see the potential, and I'm very excited to where he's going to go.
Okay.
You know, because Cronenberg's got like.
He's got a bunch of 20 movies.
Yeah, 20 movies, and half of them are just weird and not great, and then a lot of them are just transcending of how interesting and cool they are. So, Possessor is streaming on Hulu. I hope it's the uncut version. I think it's the uncut version, but either way,
why the uncut specifically?
I don't know.
Oh,
It's just the more gore, I guess. And make no mistake about it. This is really gory.
Okay.
So here's the synopsis so we can tease the listeners for next week. Tasha Voss is an elite corporate assassin, and they use brain implant technology to take control of other people's bodies to terminate high-profile targets. As she sinks deeper into her latest assignment, Voss becomes trapped inside a mind that threatens to obliterate her.
Oh.
So they're assassins, but she's not using her own
It's like
body.
a surrogate.
Yeah, they use surrogates, and they basically possess that body to commit the assassin. So there's no evidence. It does ties
So
back
it's
to
like
them.
that person is
That person
charged and whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So it's brutal. It is a very inventive, and I really think this is a fantastic movie that more people should watch.
That sounds
Very
great.
interesting concept.
Yeah.
So we will get into that next week. You got anything else, fellas?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you one more time to Jesse Jones from Stab Comedy. Go follow Stab Comedy on Twitter, formerly known as X, or the other way around.
Other way around.
Go follow them on Facebook. Go to the events calendar. There's all kinds of fun streaming stuff every day of the week, and there's also a lot of in-person live comedy events here in Sacramento. That would be great.
Broadway Street.
Yeah, right on Broadway. And thank you to our cool ass Yardities over on Patreon. That is Javier, listener Steven, Heather Sachs, Ryan Corbin, and Chris. You guys are the top tier Patreon members. You're keeping us running and keeping us support so we can do fun new things in the near future. Thank you so much for that. And if you want to support us, head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass to give us a follow. Until next time. Thank you for following us here on Twitch and in podcast world. You've listened to us gab and chatter, disparage Tyler, and go over My Neighbor Totoro. Follow us next week as we review Possessor from Brandon Cronenberg on Hulu.
Yes.
Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Twitter at Podcast MCFC and on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class.
And please leave us a voicemail, why don't you, at 209-730-6010, and follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class.
All right, see you next time.
See you next time.
See you.
All right, everybody, that is it. Sorry. For middle class film class. But we're not done for the day, obviously. Come back at 9 for LOLGBT Plus presents #STFU. It's a lot of fun. Drag, lip sync, stand-up comedy, and then you flip all that around. Let's see. Yeah, we've got some audience stuff. Let's send you guys somewhere. Who's doing stuff? I don't know. How about... Oh, you know what? It's our 3-year partner stream anniversary. Send you over to Booty. We always send you over to Booty Matchup. But it's special. They've got their partner anniversary. So go enjoy it. And we'll see you back here tonight at 9.
Thanks, Jesse. See you later, buddy. Bye.
I'm getting older, I need something to rely on. So tell me when you're gonna let me in. I'm getting tired and I need somewhere to begin. I came across a fallen tree. I felt the branches of it looking at me. Is this the place we used to love? Is this the place that I